Welcome to the January 4th, 2022 episode of Reactive Consciousness, the in-depth podcast about what happened this week in our lives. I'm just going to keep on saying two. I'm your host, vysethebold, and this is
Lotus Prince.
And we have another wonderful show here. A clean slate, Lotus Prince.
A brand new slate, yes.
Yeah.
Everything is new. Everything is different.
Do we have any corrective consciousness or reactive consciousness resolutions this year?
I don't know if I've ever made New Year's resolutions.
No, but I mean, like, for the show.
Nope.
Not gonna change a damn thing.
Fuck you!
If you don't like our show, get out.
Maybe I'll opt not to do that.
Let's start it off with some divisive political commentary.
Ooh,
no,
yeah, my favorite. It's really the heart of the show.
In all seriousness, I do hope we get a good start to things. I mean, I don't know. There's let's hope for prosperity, peace, and happiness. I mean, those are the things that you can hope for at any time. But I think I don't know. Most people aren't too optimistic right now about most things, but if you're paying attention. So anyway, I think we do have some interesting things at least to talk about here. So why don't we start off at first here with Square-Enix and NFTs. Man, they are not reading the room like ever, really. But so Square-Enix came out recently. The CEO came out and was like looking forward to our blockchain and NFT future in something he said this week, and basically everybody is backlashing against him, but they're like the company, like Epic Games is like, people are like, oh, so that's why Epic Games said that they were okay with it. They had been talking to them, or
yeah, what a coincidence that FF7 remake was an Epic exclusive for a little while.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, basically every company that's come out in favor of these things has gotten backlash, like massive backlash, and I don't think Square Enix is deft enough to care about backlash, because they never have been about anything. I mean, we keep telling them what we want as fans, and they never do it.
Well, I mean, I'll give some credit to them there. In a lot of cases, the fans don't know what they want.
Yeah,
like,
but
if you make something new, they'll complain about how things aren't what they're used to, and if you make what they're used to, they're like, well, that's uncreative. Fans don't know what the fuck they want. But this is one of those cases, though, where, like you said, every single entity who's come out about NFTs has gotten blasted. Like, this is universally not wanted, and the people who hear this either acknowledge, oh, I didn't think the backlash would be that bad, or they double down and say, I'm okay being the bad guy.
Yeah, it's like, I guess they're figuring, well, we're like the only game in town with what we do, so fuck off. I mean, like, if you don't like it, we're still gonna make things that you buy, which is kind of true. At least they're running like the hottest MMO in the world right now, so they put together a good product. There's or a well, something that is clearly has a lot of effort put into it. I don't know whether it's like well made in the end, like in terms of like storytelling and things like that. Like
people are loving it to death. Apparently, the story is legitimately well told.
No, I mean in their products in general, like things like Kingdom Hearts. Like what even is the story there?
It was so simple. It was one little game.
Yeah,
and then everything went insane.
It's one of those things where it's such a convoluted mess, and then when you do find it out, it's also something extremely simple and stupid. It's like, why do you have to make it
simple and clean?
Got me there.
If only you attended the Japanese-only live concert, you would have gotten some extra lore.
Yeah,
I think they actually did that for Nier Automata as well. There was like a concert event.
it's so funny because like it's like Metal Gear. I always talk about this. Like a very, very, very major plot point is hidden in like bullshit, like text files, and not even a lot of Metal Gear fans don't know the fact that like Revolver Ocelot is the boss's son. Like that is a very important point to understand like the relationship between Revolver and Snake. Like that.
Yeah.
That plot point is the hinge point on a lot of like what's going on, especially in Metal Gear Solid 4. And I don't know. It's also, very important in 5 as well, like in terms of thematic significance. But you hide all your important lore in bullshit that most people won't even look at.
It's ironic because Kojima's such a movie guy.
Yeah,
and he's so heavy-handed with some of his messages, but like this is the one that's a secret.
Yeah, and it ties everything together. His code name is Adam. Like the boss is clearly like supposed to be a symbol for God, right? Like a stand-in for God, and the snake is Snake, like the serpent in the garden. Like it's like all these things like all tie together, like. These like also nobody also talks about how Big Boss is a genius name for the last boss of a video game.
Yeah, that is pretty fantastic. It's very
that was meta even in the very first game, and nobody gives that credit.
And don't you like kill him in that?
Yes.
Like I mean, like later on they're like, oh, he didn't actually die, but like you kill him.
He is called Big Boss. You think he's your friend, and you kill him at the end of that game.
Yeah, it's like, well,
and then you kill him again, and then you kill him again. He dies 3 times.
Well, but how does Hot Cold Man play into this?
Well, technically, that Big Boss is not the Big Boss, but.
What about Die Hard Man?
Die Hard Man.
It's the wrong game, but what about Die Hard Man?
That is like one of the best.
What about Jeff Porter Bridges, where he's a porter and he builds bridges, and his mom's name is Bridget Bridges,
and she's played by the Bionic Woman. Oh wait, no, that's somebody else.
To be fair, at least Porter isn't his name. That's like a call sign because that's his job. He's a porter. But his name is Bridges.
I mean, but who's a porter? Come on. But yeah, NFTs.
What? Oh.
You can tell this is a light news week. There, just like last week, there's not much going on in the world of video games, comic books, movies, other than the stuff that we've already talked about.
Yeah, and Hot Cold Man.
But I did want to, say at least my standpoint on NFTs is that like I think they're a gigantic scam. And the smart people that are into it know it is and are very cynical about it and are trying to convince people that they are worth money so they can dump it for real money.
Yeah, I was just going to say, so you can pay real money for it? Like, interesting.
Yeah, exactly. And then they'll convert it to real money and leave you with a worthless thing. And not even a worthless thing. It's a worthless, digital token, which is even worse than a Beanie Baby.
Yeah, I was going to say, we already have digital tokens. They're called, rare skins for your gun in Call of Duty. We don't need an NFT to have that.
And then all those guys who come out was like, oh, well, you believe in a fiat currency system. It's like, yes, so does everybody. That's why it works.
Yeah, what do you want us to do? Go back to trading goats because they're food? Gold isn't, gold has worth. There are people who want gold, but, you're not just gonna keep stacks of gold in your house. Remember Goldfinger? Whereas like I'm gonna go and raid Fort Knox, and he's like, that's the dumbest plan in the world. It's very heavy. You're never gonna do it.
You know who else has a fiat currency system? A cartoon rat who wants me to play arcade games in his pizza place.
Charles Entertainment Cheese. That is real. That is real.
As a rat, should he not be around the pizza? I'm just saying.
Yeah, that really is like a boneheaded decision.
I mean, I assume he's a rat because he likes cheese, right?
I mean, okay.
Yeah.
Chuck Entertainment Cheese.
Charles. Call him by his given name.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me.
But yeah, I mean, this is bullshit. It's also, somebody also made another fantastic point. Like, the reason why Square-Enix is citing that they can't expand the way that they want to in order to meet like the server shortage is because of NFT and blockchain activity mining.
Yeah, that's the irony. They want to embrace precisely what is preventing FF14 from growing.
Which is hilarious to me. It's just tone deaf enough.
I really hope the FF14 devs are like, you fucking dumbass.
Well, no, I mean, they
what
probably
are you gonna do,
are.
Fire me? I single-handedly brought this game back from the brink.
The kind of people who like CEOs are people that just like sit up there and like, while everybody else is toiling, and they're just sitting there
they get trained to be CEOs. It's not like they necessarily work their way to the top.
Yeah, they're just sitting up there like, saying stuff.
Make the numbers bigger, okay?
Hoping that they get credit for something that somebody else did in their company. Not shrewd business.
These numbers
moves.
are red. I want them to be green. Make the numbers.
No, they don't. They want them to be black.
Yeah, they want them to be black. Green is in black.
It's not Christmas.
It certainly is not. That time has passed. I'm sorry, everybody. That ship has sailed. It's a while till Christmas again.
It's called Black Friday, not Green Friday.
Green Friday. That's when you recycle.
Nobody does that. But yeah, I mean, this is just a waste of energy and a waste of our precious resources during a time where we need it for other things because we have a global shortage because of a lot of things, because of the pandemic, and people are wasting it on this bullshit NFT crap. I just hate it. But anyway, moving on from that, speaking of material shortages due to the pandemic, Limited Run Games sent out a very specific email. I don't know if you got any of these emails
I don't
about
think
their
so
updates.
because I didn't order this.
Okay, so they usually are pretty good at communicating, but on this level, I didn't expect an email on this level of specificity. So they came out and said that the Neo Geo Pocket Color Selection Volume 1, which is, of course, something I've been looking forward to for a while now, just because of how much I love that system and everything about it. And they came out and said exactly why it's being delayed till Q1 2022. So they literally told you the specific component and why that specific component is going to be was difficult for them to source. So they even linked to articles to back themselves up and everything. It was like very very refreshing that it wasn't like a smoke screen. It's just like, no, this is exactly it. You can look at it all. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with limited run games. They take notoriously long to ship out, but they're good at communication, but they take a while to ship out. So I don't know, maybe they wanted to just curb backlash before it happened. Look, man, here's why it's taking longer, this particular thing.
So I'll read this paragraph just to tell you how specific it is. The item holding up the shipping of this title is the classic edition box itself. We're a stickler for quality here. We want this box to look extra cool. Due to global material shortages, we had a hard time sourcing the foil for the box. Fun fact, foil processing relies on chemical reactions, so the results can be organic looking and thus hard to predict using a different type of foil. Once we get the look we want, hopefully to be resolved shortly, we can get a box printed and all those items inside and out to you. So, like that's really great. They're like, no, we want this to be really great, and we have an attention to detail, and we have a specific type of quality standard, and that's actually really refreshing for a company to be like that. So, I really encourage letters like this because it takes away the anxiety of during a lot of these things, because a lot of people are worried whether companies are just going to disappear and go off with their money, or I think the audience of limited run games tends to be an enthusiast crowd, so they understand things, right?
Yeah, and I will, limited run games has been around for a while. I doubt that at this point, unless you're a first time customer, there's going to be any fear of that kind of thing happening, because they're an established quantity at this point.
Not only that, but they are the founder and leading brand of their type.
Of limited print entities. Yeah.
In video gaming, at least.
Yes.
So they basically invented this arm of the business, and all the other companies that do this kind of thing kind of followed in suit, and they've always delivered a really nice product. And if they've ever messed up, they've always kind of made good on it. I for instance, I had ordered the Sigil box set, and it came corrupted when I tried to put in the USB stick in order to get access to Dusk, or not Dusk, Sigil, and it was corrupted, and they just shipped out a brand new one to me, no problem. So
I've had one or two errors in shipping, and they took care of it super quickly and easily. It was nice.
Yeah, so I just wanted to give a shout out to a response like this, and I also appreciated a couple weeks back when we talked about retro USB's heartfelt communication about their retro AES, because it's honesty like that's really refreshing. You have some of the companies like Analog are really bad at communicating. They put out a good product, but they'll just go completely radio silent for a while.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to address. It's not like they communicate badly; they don't communicate.
Well, that is an aspect of poor communication, poor communication can be from a number of aspects, but insincerity is one of them. Lack of communication is another, and then also putting out so much information that you can't get the point. That's also a thing.
That's obnoxious. Yeah.
So and also disorganization. So that's another point. So this doesn't reek of any of these. These are well-meaning, hard-trying people trying to do the best they can, and they're not sacrificing their quality level, their normal quality level, which is the thing that they strive for in this business, which is good. But I did want to say that this week I did get my Doom collector's edition, and I was very happy about that. So normally I wouldn't have ordered that because how many times do I own Doom, right? I this is the original Doom trilogy is what it comes with. So it comes with Doom 1, Doom 2, and Doom 3 BFG edition on it. and it also comes with all the expansions, of course, because you get those for free from Bethesda right now. Like the master levels of Doom 2 and all that jazz.
Sure.
So, but this comes with a lot of cool things that normally with most things I wouldn't care about, but with this it's actually pretty cool. So first of all, the box is really nice. It's in a very 90s style PC box with a dust cover, which is pretty cool. And it even kind of has like little blurbs on there that look like that stuff from then, like those like voodoo things that they used to have on the boxes and things like that back then. They have stuff that looks like that, of course, and and it says like key card replica included, which there is a
there is, but
card.
that's a very like cereal box thing to do. Like there's
Exactly.
a toy inside.
Exactly. But it comes. What's cool is it comes with the plastic regular Switch case, but it also comes with a steelbook that has the cover of the Masters levels of Doom 2 on it, like the wall of demon faces.
The gray.
Yeah, exactly. Which I thought was really neat. But it also has a couple other really fun things in it. It has a reprint in very high quality of the famous Doom comic book. That has the rip and tear crap in it.
Now I'm radioactive. That can't be good.
Also, I don't know if you've looked at the Doom 2 box very recently, but
with the Cyber Demon on it?
Yeah.
That's one of the best box covers of all time.
What's really cool is they included high quality, I guess high quality prints of clean versions of the box art from Doom 1 and Doom 2 and Doom 3. Doom 3 is not what I'm there for. I'm there for Doom 1 and Doom 2. But it looks beautiful. It's the best version of that art that I've ever seen. I mean, it's a little on the small side, but like if you frame that, it'll look really nice. It's about, I would say, maybe like 7 inches by maybe 10 inches, something like that. But they look really, really nice. Not too much smaller than a box would, like on a shelf. So I was really happy with that. Plus it's clean. It doesn't have any of the logos or anything other than Doom and Doom 2 on it. And but one funny thing that I thought about while I looked at it is like the Space Marine, or the Doomslayer, I guess, retcon now into
whatever, Doom guy.
Doom guy, is like shooting that Baron of Hell, right? Isn't it a Baron of Hell?
Cyber Demon.
Cyber Demon. He's fighting the Cyber Demon, and he has his helmet off. So you see the back of his head, and it has very intricate, like very very clean haircut. Like, makes me think, like, do they have like a master barber on Mars?
No, just by incredible coincidence, the Cyber Demon is the very first enemy he faced. So he's at his freshest right now.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, like, and I know, I think Doom is supposed to happen over the course of like a day or so, but so like,
it's a fucking shit show. It's the worst time ever.
But like, I just think it's funny that like his head looks that fresh. But
because he's actually kind of cut up in Doom 1's cover.
Stuff's
clawing at him as he's killing them.
Well, yeah, but he has his helmet on there.
He does.
My plan is that my basement, I'm just we've been putting it together ever since we moved in here, and we're really trying to make it a cool place to hang out. And once I want to frame those two, and I also want to frame the art from the Castlevania games when that comes in, because they're gonna have the clean art from Castlevania 1, 2, and 3, and 4, I think. In that box set, so
but will they
I'm
have
really
64
excited
with Reinhardt's face on it? That's the real question.
That very like waxy, like,
the very like
Barbie doll look.
PS1 cutscene 3D. Yeah,
Exactly. I don't think they ever did. Did they ever do like 2D artwork of those characters? I don't think
that's
they
a
ever
good
released
question.
that.
I don't remember. If they did, it would probably be in the manual, but I bet you it's still 3D.
Yeah, it's just like they were trying to show off the 3D-ness of it during a time in which they were trying to, graduate that franchise into 3D. But never really panned out.
Yeah, no.
Really ever. But yeah, I just wanted to state that, they are putting out good stuff. I did just receive that, and I'm very happy about that. I also got my Clockwork Aquario from Strictly Limited a little while ago, so I was really happy about that too. I had something else from Limited Run Games recently, but I'll come back on that once I remember. And I also wanted to talk about a little bit about Hardcore Gaming 101, just like churning out books. Like,
yeah, this is ridiculous. I still have to break into its Japanese role-playing games book because I've been reading something else, but that thing is huge.
Yeah, friend of the show, Kurt Collada, is putting out not one but two books in the last 30 days.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Which is just insane. One of them is smaller than the other. Here, let me grab it and talk about it a little bit. It is the Hardcore Gaming 101 Digest Volume 7. So the digests are smaller books. They're the smaller ones, but they tend to be about very specific subjects.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, he'll do company books or shooters in general, but the digests are like stuff I don't know how to put into other books, so they'll kind of get their own category. So it's an interesting hodgepodge.
Yeah, so he did Metroid and Kid Icarus, which, if for those people that didn't know, like, they were made by the same guy. So he has like all the Metroid games are in here, which is pretty cool, including a pretty sizable article about AM2R, which is actually really cool of him to do. Like, he included it basically in the chronology, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, I actually don't think I knew that book was already out. I'm gonna have to get that one.
Yeah. It came out like last week.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to order that then.
Yeah, so he has like all of the official Metroid games in here. Even Federation Force is in here, which is pretty cool. But he has an entire page about Metroid Prime Pinball, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, well, I mean, he really goes deep. Like, he'll even address like mobile titles, even if it's briefly. Not that Metroid has any that I'm aware of, but like he'll get the weird stuff. Like, for his Golden Axe comprehensive look, he addressed, like, also, there's a Pachi slot machine, like, in case you didn't know. Like, it's stuff like that.
Yeah, he has all the appearances of Metroid characters in Captain N, which Mother Brain was the main antagonist of Captain N, so the main antagonist of Metroid is the main antagonist of Captain N, so that's pretty cool. Manga and various game books, too, which is pretty cool. Like concept art of way Samus used to look.
Yeah, purple hair
neat.
Samus.
Yeah, like, really neat stuff. There's also like that very early American box art with concept art with the male version of Samus.
That makes me think of Castlevania with male. Oh no! What was the sorceress's name in Castlevania?
Sophia.
Sifa.
Yeah.
Sophia. Like it was just like a bearded guy in the manual or something. It's like, what?
So also included is the whole Kid Icarus franchise, which is a little bit bigger than you think it would be. First of all, like, all the different versions of the first game, like including the 3DS kind of update of that game. The sequel on Game Boy, which a lot of people forget about, and then Uprising.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and then nothing happened at all for like 25 years.
Well, a lot of he's one of those characters who was resurrected by Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
So there's some references to that, and then like towards the end of the book. He has articles about like stuff that wouldn't fit anywhere else
Sure.
Like he does the whole Punch-Out series, which is pretty cool. Which has a bunch of games.
Does he address that, like, that game that's not called Punch-Out, but is totally a spiritual successor to Punch-Out, where it's like robots?
Oh, you know what? Teleroboxer is not in here.
It's not actually a Punch-Out game, but it kind of is.
It should be. Power Punch 2, though, is, which is, a necessary thing to talk about, because Power Punch 2 started out as a sequel to Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
Does he address that one episode of the Venture Brothers where
body blow,
Hank
body
attacks
blow,
the guy? Body blow, body blow.
he does mention the body blow thing, but
so
not
Jab,
the Venture
body
Brothers
blow,
thing.
Uppercut.
But he does mention like weird he does mention Wade Hickston's Counterpunch, which was a pretty fun Punch-Out like game on the GBA, which is pretty cool.
Does he address that one arm wrestling arcade game?
You know what? Arm wrestling isn't in here, and I don't
like
know
the
why.
Masked guy you beat reveals himself to be Bald Bull, and you're like, what?
Oh no! Arm wrestling is in here. No, I eat my words. Arm wrestling is in here. So arm wrestling is a secret Punch-Out game, because you play as the protagonist from the green-haired protagonist of the Punch-Out arcade.
Oh, I didn't even know you were the Punch-Out guy. I just knew that Bald Bull secretly shows up.
Yeah, not Little Mac, the green-haired.
Yeah, the original,
Vector guy.
not Mike Tyson, just Punch-Out on the arcade.
Yeah. So there's some interesting things in here. He also has the whole balloon fight franchise in here too, which is a little bit bigger than you'd think.
Yeah, with Tingle's weird Japanese variant.
Well, there's also the adventure game Balloon Kid on the Game Boy, that was remade as a Hello Kitty game on the Famicom.
Does he also address Joust? Because Balloon Fight just is Joust.
They do talk about that, actually. That's a thing in there. There's also Versus Balloon Fight, Tingled's Balloon Fight, just like you said. And the Game & Watch game, he even has...
wow.
He talks about that, too. Devil World is the next thing, and Mysterious Murasame Castle, which got ported to the 3DS. Oh, enjoy Mech Fight. That's a cool game. And Star Tropics 2. There's some pretty cool things in this book.
Interesting titles.
Yeah. And then, for some reason, Vigilance on Talos 5. I don't know why you put that in here. I guess it has a lot of Metroid-isms. And Gato Roboto got in here, which is pretty cool. Did you play Gato Roboto?
No, but I saw briefly in the Devolver Digital D-Make pack, there was what was it called? Robot Cat or something?
Yeah.
It was some stupid name.
It plays like Castlevania, which is really funny because Gato Roboto itself plays like Metroid. So it's like a funny Metroidvania references.
Yeah.
That it's flip-flops like that. It's kind of funny. But that game's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. And we also wanted to take a little bit of time to kind of follow up on Corrective I did want to mention what the other book is. I forgot about the other book, Lotus. There's the Retro Indie Games Volume 2 book that they are coming out with, I think, on Tuesday. You can already pre-order it, as of today. So you can already pre-order it on Amazon, and it comes pretty quickly. So I need to see what games are in this. Well, the games on the cover are so it has a bunch of Metroidvanias. It has Hollow Knight, Blasphemous.
Oh yeah, Cuphead.
Yeah, D-Lit in Wonder Labyrinth.
Yeah, in Wonder Labyrinth. Yeah, by the way, what a bizarre game to exist. Do you remember Record of Lodoss War? It's from the 90s.
Yeah, the thing I most remember, and this is kind of funny, is the obscure, Diablo-like for the Dreamcast. That's what I knew about Lodoss War.
But it's just like a 90s anime, and even if you didn't know that, you could tell by looking. It's like an OVA, so it's better quality, but it's a very 90s look. And it's like, oh, by the way, there's a 2021 game for it, out of nowhere.
it's kind of funny. It's one of those like games that, or one of those franchises that's like really old hat anime people know about it, and that's about it.
I haven't even seen it. I just like am aware of its existence.
Exactly. It's one of those few anime that we had access to back then.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite as popular as something like Ninja Scroll or Ghost of the Shell or any of the like the.
No, but it had
Akira
it had a kind of Dungeons and Dragons like aesthetic to it.
Yeah. And apparently it's one of the best Metroidvanias around. like it's
apparently
really good.
It's a good title. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I just remember seeing the title, like Record of Lodos War, Deedlit in what the fuck? But like, no, that's the character's name from the old show, Deedlit. I didn't realize that.
Blazing Chrome is in this, the Contra-like game, which is pretty rad game actually. Celeste, Dusk, Project Warlock, Unavowed, Lamplight City. There's some really good stuff in here. Coffee Talk, Katawa Shoujo.
Oh wow, that's going a little back.
Cave Story, Into the Breach, Return of Obra Dinn, Stardew Valley, Papers, Please. I think I see Cyberspace Outlaw. Is that what I see on the front there?
Well, that I wouldn't know.
Or Quadrilateral Cowboy. I think that's it. But yeah, there's just some really interesting stuff. Iconoclast is on the front there. Yeah, there's some really interesting, cool stuff. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to it. The first volume was very, very good, but I think this is like the Metroidvania book, so it's kind of amongst other things, right? Because
I was gonna say Cuphead.
But there's like new run and gun games in here, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so like Kurt always does a great job with these books too. Like I'm not just saying that because I know him. It's like.
Yeah, no, I've bought every single one except for apparently Kid Icarus and Metroid.
They're just they're the best books of their type. Like they're just put together so well, and they're so fun to read, and the layout's great, the presentation's great, the writing's great, and the attention to detail. I don't know of anybody who like the wrestling book is. Like,
that was excruciating detail. I don't know how they put that shit together. There's way too much wrestling content.
That wrestling book has even every LCD game.
Yeah, that's insanity.
Like every one. Like, yes, all of them.
Where do you find that?
Like it literally has every game that has to do with wrestling in it ever. Like ever. It's I don't get how it was made. I think he just edited that one and published it. So like,
okay.
But it still reflects the level of attention of detail of all the rest of the books as well. Like just like you said, he even has like Pachi slots and games and all that kind of stuff. So erotic violence kind of stuff in there.
What is? Oh, it's like Castlevania.
Yeah, it's the Castlevania pachinko game. But yeah, this is really, really cool stuff. So, but yeah, I did want to take a quick moment to follow up on, we talked about a bunch of the things that we played in 2021 and experienced in 2021. And I wanted to get a little bit more in there because we kind of ran out of time last time. So did you have anything else that you wanted to talk about, like while we kind of have the floor for it, the time for it?
Yeah, I mean, I did mention, I think I was playing
Sekiro, and
I did mention Sekiro, and at this point I beat the game with a bad ending and am now caught up to where I was to try to opt for the better endings. So that ought to be interesting.
Oh, so do you have to play through the whole game again? Like, how does it work?
Well, I mean, for all those games, for different endings, yes. But with this one, I suppose you could save scum before you make a choice. But you know how in Dark Souls 1 and 2, at the very end of the game, do you go forward and activate ending 1, or do you go backward and activate ending 2? Do you touch the bonfire, or do you walk out of the boss arena?
Yeah.
In Dark Souls 3... there's the light the bonfire ending, but they change it up. There are a couple of other endings you can access by setting them up earlier by finding other stuff, which is kind of cool.
It is.
In Bloodborne, you have 3 endings. 2 of them you're granted access to immediately. You have a yes/no choice. Yes, one ending. No, final boss and other ending. And if you set up something in advance, you could do no, final boss, then final boss, and third ending. Sekiro handles things a little bit differently. There's a part where a character asks you to make a choice, and if you go one way, then you just fight some final bosses right there, and that's the end. And if you go the other way, you fight somebody different, and then you keep playing. There's more game, and depending what you did to set up before that, you can unlock like a new area. Like there's an area in Sekiro I've never been to, because like the game just progresses. Because like if you choose to go for the bad ending, the game goes like, "Are you sure?" And then you just do final boss. But now I'm gonna
you chose that on purpose, I assume, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to work my way up from worst to best. So now I'm approaching a part of the game I've never played before, even though I'm on New Game Plus. So that's pretty exciting.
So I've been playing Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's shortly becoming one of my favorite games I've ever played. It's really, really good. But like I've been making bad dialogue choices, and I've been trying to not be like really anal about it, like kind of just living with my choices kind of thing. But it's really I'm really starting to grit my teeth on it. Because like I guess I should save scum at least a little, you know what I mean? Because the whole thing about this game is that you are kind of micromanaging the relationship that ships with the individual members of your crew. So you know all the characters from the movie, obviously. So you have Drax, Rocket, and Gamora, and Groot, and you're trying to and also like a couple other characters, and like depending on what you say, like there are actual like material outcomes to what you say and how they react to you,
instead of just different flavors of going to the same direction.
It is going to the same direction, but the way that it happens and the the way the characters like view you is different. So there is that. So I don't know. I think a couple things I might just go back and fix, and just put up with playing it again. You know what I mean? Because I'm actually having that much fun with it. The dialogue is like some of the best I've ever experienced in a video game. And I'm not saying that lightly. It's really, really good. It's like on the level of Uncharted 4.
Okay.
Like it's up there. So I'm just having a good time. Now, it's not as complex in terms of the dialogue choices. It's very binary, but you don't always know what the what the outcome will be. That's kind of the funny thing. It's not like a good bad choice. It's just like I hope you pick the right thing, kind of thing. And so like it's not like Alpha Protocol where like it has an extremely intricate dialogue system. Nothing has that what was in that game, which is really surprising. You would have thought that like maybe the only other games that kind of like come close to that kind of thing is like Fallout New Vegas or Outer Worlds has as intricate of a dialogue system as that game does.
Well, I will say I haven't played it myself, but I heard you can go really deep into a character study with the choices you make in Disco Elysium.
Oh yeah, I definitely want to go and play that as well. So, but I'm just super enjoying it. Another thing I wanted to get at is I was talking about on Thursday. We were talking about like the Chris Claremont X-Men stuff, and I went back and read that. But like I've kind of gotten addicted to the Marvel Epic collection format. I don't know how much I said about that, but what's really neat is that they are basically collecting entire like runs of these comics and kind of giving you gigantic chunks, and they can work on their own, but they do link to each other eventually if you buy them all. And I'm just having a lot of fun. Like they are starting to do character centric ones. So like they just put out like a couple Moon Knight ones, so you can get like all the early appearances of Moon Knight in other comics. Like they pepper them all in there. I have this Venom one. It has like all of the major story beats having to do with the symbiote suit before Peter rejects it, which is pretty cool in it. And then his meeting with Eddie Brock, and then all that, everything after that. So what's really neat about it is like it also has that appearance of the Fantastic Bagman. Did you get that costume from the PS4 game?
Oh yeah, that stupid costume. Yeah, I got everything in that game.
So that's actually from a famous issue where they found out that the suit was a symbiote. That's why he didn't have a suit. He was in the Fantastic Four building. He was in the Baxter building when and Mr. Fantastic was testing the suit, and he was just like, guys, I need something to leave with.
That's great.
It was really funny. So yeah, he's wearing a Fantastic Four suit and a paper bag over his head, which is really funny. So yeah, I have that. Anything else you wanted to mention as well before we get into the bummer stuff?
Yeah, the only thing I'll say is, like, I mean, I've been streaming Suikoden 3 lately because I've just been going through Suikoden games, and it's really cool to see, like, because I want to talk about Suikoden 2 and 3. 3 is great because it's the first venture into 3D.
Sure.
You have three, because I guess it's because it's the third, you have 3 playable protagonists, technically 4 if you want to go on a sub thing, and there might be room for more. I'm not all the way at the end of the game yet. But it's interesting to see the 3 characters do their own thing and see how they converge on each other. Like, you're rooting for all of them, even though one of them very explicitly hates the other and wants revenge on that person for what they did at the very beginning of the game. And you can see what happened from both perspectives, and there's no real good solution to that one.
Yeah.
So, like, one of the protagonists is, like, very grudgingly realizing this person's not a bad person. It's just like a very unfortunate circumstance happened. And the third one is just doesn't seem to be related to those two at all, just a separate person, but you can easily see why that person is also a protagonist.
Sure.
And there's a lot of callbacks to Suikoden 2, like whether you recognize them or not. But what's interesting about Suikoden 3 in particular is that, do you know how many games exist for the PlayStation 2?
Oh, it has to be a lot. Because
I think it's over 2,000.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think it's still the most popular video game system of all time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It might be. There's a chance it might be 3,000, but I don't want to put all my chips on that one. But certainly over 2,000. That's a lot of fucking games. And the reason I mentioned
more people bought that than any other system, maybe other than the Wii.
Yeah. And the reason I mention this is that Suikoden 3, among all of them, is unique in that it is the one and only PlayStation 2 game. To the point, this is esoteric to the point where they didn't even program this into the PS3. It is the one game that can read PlayStation 1 memory card data.
I did know about that. I did know about that.
Yeah, it could transfer Suikoden 2 data. And it's not like critical. You can get, like, some characters start leveled a little bit differently, and you can get, like, an extra script for the playhouse that you wouldn't have otherwise been able to get. It's little things like that. Suikoden 2 got more from saving Suikoden 1 save data to the point where, like, a whole character shows up. But it's interesting to see where this goes, and it's kind of cool to see familiar enemies, like just regular monster enemies, just in 3D. So far though, I still say Suikoden 2 is my favorite of the 5 Suikoden games I've played, because there's the 2 visual novel, like it's like a 2-parter visual novel between 2 and 3, which is interesting. Those star a character who eventually shows up in 3, and if you know him, you know him. And American audiences did not at the time, because it was a Japanese only VN that was like an interlude between 2 and 3. But Suikoden 2 is so amazing. I've already talked about that earlier in the year, but that game is one of the best JRPGs of its era. I've probably said that repeatedly. The villain is amazing. Where the plot ultimately goes is amazing. The war you have to go through, and the strategist who like establishes what tricks you're going to need to use in the war. Like, not so much gameplay wise, but like, here's how it's going to pan out. When our soldiers come in and theirs do this, like, the level of thinking ahead on your strategist's part is absolutely ridiculous, to the point where even though I'm the one playing the little Fire Emblem battle scenarios, what's going on like in the backgrounds with like the hundreds and hundreds of warriors that I have that I can't see on the field is just, it's so cleverly done. They're just like intentionally failing certain scenarios to lower the enemy's guard for later scenarios. It's great. So I wonder if Suikoden 3 is even going to attempt to approach that, because like so far it looks like we're just kind of doing a different kind of game. We're not doing the big war, but at the same time, something's been brewing for a long time, so it might come to that. I guess we'll see.
You know, it's kind of funny is I really want to play Suikoden 2, but I know to get the full effect, you need to play 1.
Yeah, you really should play 1. I mean,
yeah.
I suppose, like, you could download Suikoden 1 100% data.
I don't want that. I want to actually, like,
yeah, you get the emotional resonance if you play through it.
Exactly.
Suikoden 1 is still a very good game, but as somebody described it to me online, Suikoden 1 is good enough to get you to play Suikoden 2.
You know, it also makes me think about, like, The Witcher. Like, I really want to play The Witcher 3, but, like, I have to play through, like, the first 2 in order to, you know, bring over that data, you know? Like that.
Which
that
means
stuff
you gotta
matters.
do it on PC.
Yeah, exactly. Which is, you know, even like, less appealing to me, but I still want to do it. But those games are not short, especially the second one, right?
Yeah.
So you're still in the middle of the second one, right?
But if you're doing side quests, it adds up.
I mean, the whole point of carrying over the data is stuff from the side quest, isn't it? Like,
I don't even know.
Well, a lot of the stuff that carries forward is your decisions and your relationships with the women in the game.
Yeah, and that's what really makes me mad, by the way, is that, like, my computer data got wiped a while back, so, like, that's fucked, and I really don't feel like playing 1 and 2 again.
Oh, it had all that on it? Oh, man.
Because I wasn't using, like, I played those games before GOG Galaxy, so I don't have cloud save.
Oh, I was gonna say, wouldn't you have that via GOG?
I would, but this was pre-GOG Galaxy, so I just straight up downloaded the game and just played it.
Wow, I would have thought that you would have at least linked it. That's a shame.
I don't even know. Like, there's probably some easy way to do it, but
there is.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Well, oh well.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm ever gonna play 3.
Yeah, no kidding. I feel bad for you.
Because going through 1 and 2 is just like, they're good games when you play them once, but like to replay them just to play a third game, like, that's a bitch. I'm not doing that.
I'm sure there are things that you could do in order to, like, you know, like, you could probably download some kind of fan thing to get the choices that
I don't fucking care. I don't fucking care. I don't want to look into this.
Really? Oh, okay.
I don't want to fucking, like, I don't even remember what decisions I made. I don't give a shit.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. But I hear 3's just so good that...
Yeah, 3's apparently amazing. Too bad.
But that's what I want to move forward with eventually. I also wanted to quickly mention that I have gotten into Duck Comics this year. So yeah, I have my first sets of Uncle Scrooge and Donald Duck comics from Carl Barks here, and I'm excited to start reading them. I got the first volume of the Donald Duck ones, which is the Christmas on Bear Mountain, and I'm pretty excited about that. So I have a lot. I'm really into comics right now for some reason. I think it's because of these epic collections, because like I kind of just like collecting them. They look really nice on the shelf, and the amount of attention to detail that the epic collections have. Like they even have like side stories of these characters and stuff in them. So it like you don't really miss out on anything, because normally these things like only have like straight runs of comics, but these have like even like the stuff that happened in, like Marvel Presents or whatever, Marvel Team Up. So I'm also getting into Batman comics too. So like I don't know what's wrong with me. I've just been into like just such a comic book kick for the last like 3 or 4 months, and I hope I can calm down with it, because like I have more than I need to read or have the time to read now. Especially with also with the Fist of the North Star volumes coming out as well on the regular. Like they're putting out those pretty quickly. They have 3 of them so far. Have you been keeping up on those?
Nope.
Oh, okay. I thought you were ordering those.
No, I said on day one I wouldn't be. Like, it's cool
okay.
they're coming out, but I'm not going to buy them.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm all about it. But yeah, I want to get back into the JoJo ones as well, but there's just so many of those.
Yeah, well, that's part of my problem. Like,
Yeah.
I've been keeping up with the JoJo ones, but like,
Running out of space.
It's 30 years.
It's like, do I really have enough space for all of One Piece on my shelf?
Yeah, I'm not even thinking about that.
I got out a lot of my old anime. I'm just like, oh man, this was a lot simpler when you could just buy like is it 12 volumes of Death Note?
Yeah, done.
Yeah. I have all of Berserk, and that was that 40 volumes, and we're waiting on 41. Yeah, like I there's no way I could display all that. Like I have all of Gantz as well. Like so, like there's a lot of Gantz. There's what, like something like 30 volumes of Gantz, 35 volumes of Gantz. So yeah, I like. Eventually, you're gonna have to be like, okay, these don't go on the shelf; these go in the box, in the closet, because like, can I have a whole shelf that's just, just Berserk? Like, is that fair to have that shelf space dedicated to just this one thing?
Yeah.
But yeah, anything else before we move on to the bummer stuff?
No, I think that's it.
Okay, 2 bummer things. The first is actually surprisingly video game relevant. John Madden has passed away. So John Madden is not just a video game name. He's one of the most celebrated football players and football coaches and football broadcasters ever. He was very iconic in the way that he delivered everything. Like he always just said like boom and bam and all that kind of stuff, and was very entertaining to listen to. And was also extremely knowledgeable. So he has been around. He has been a face of football for a very long time. So back in the early '90s, they made they licensed his name for a video game series, a video game about football that was was more accurate than anything at the time, and continued to be that way for a while, and eventually became the only football game that's ever released every year. Continuing to be one of the best-selling video games every single year because of that. He's very influential, and it's kind of funny that he is associated with that game when he barely has anything to do with it. Like his name's on it, and I guess he does some of the color commentary and stuff, but he didn't really have he doesn't have creative control over it or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it makes me think of all of the products that are labeled Tom Clancy.
Yeah. It's this person has passed away a very long time ago, and 10 years ago at this point, and there's also books still being made with his name on it that have that are set in his universe or whatever. But it's so disrespectful of the people that actually like write those books because like he's getting credit for everything that they're writing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
it's kind of gross. But yeah, it's just one of those things. They never came up with a like. They should have just called it the Jack Ryan universe, because like if they had done that, like, he wouldn't be getting authorial credit, for everything else that people work on like posthumously. But whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's sad that he passed away. Of course, he's a was a fun person to listen to. He also had a couple interesting quirks. I don't know if you knew this, Lotus. He didn't like to fly. So he actually took a bus to every single game. Like, he had enough power to be able to say, no, I'm not going on a plane, I'm taking a bus. Like, and they got a bus for him and took him there. Like,
what are you gonna do?
Which is pretty interesting. And the other person who passed away, which we're not breaking this to anybody, everybody's heard of this by this point, is at the age of 99, Betty White has passed away, unfortunately. And she was still like with it. They
still like doing stuff, yeah.
They had recorded a 100th birthday celebration that didn't air yet.
I think they published already like the 100th birthday like People magazine.
Yeah. So like she was like maybe a month away or like a couple of weeks away from her 100th birthday.
2 or 3 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, which is it's a big shame. Well, she has lived a great, awesome life. No doubt about it. And I mean, anybody could hope to get to age 99. So like that's you're very lucky if you get that far in life. So so she's most famous, for anybody who doesn't know, for being on the Golden Girls, but amongst a lot of other
I think
things.
You mispronounced Lake Placid.
She's actually the villain of Lake Placid. Oddly enough, the human villain, I should say. The actual villain is a prehistoric alligator,
something like that.
Yeah. But she's like the woman who fed it the whole time, or something. Yeah. But anyway, she's was really funny. She was a comedic actor for a very long time. She was in all kinds of stuff. Even before the Golden Girls, she's been famous her entire life. But the Golden Girls was really where she hit her most popular note, and people have loved her ever since. And she's been in a billion things, movies, commercials, television shows. She was on Hot in Cleveland. That was another show. She was on with Valerie Bertinelli. There's just like all kinds of stuff that she's done, and she's just always like a fun person to listen to in interviews. She's like a nice person, but also like had some witty stuff to say, and she's just like one of those just cool people that everybody just loved. And there's not too much bad out there about her or anything like that. She's just like one of those people, that's kind of idolized because she's just, a really cool person. So, and she was the last remaining Golden Girl as well. All of her co-workers had since passed as well. Which is kind of funny because the show was about like women in their twilight, and that was back in the 80s. And like B. Arthur didn't die that long ago either. I think it was only about 5 years ago. So it's kind of funny that like that show was about like women in their twilight, and they weren't even close to actually passing away, which is kind of funny.
B. Arthur in particular wanted to live as long as she could to distance herself further and further from the Star Wars Holiday Special.
She was in that. Yeah.
She served a drink by pouring it down an alien's volcano head.
I should also mention that the Golden Girls is a very kind of important sitcom, despite the fact that you might think it would be like a fuddy-duddy show because it was about older women. But it was actually a really progressive show for its time, like very progressive. It was like one of the very first like sitcoms to like have gay characters like featured in it in a positive way and not the butt of a joke or anything like that. It was it's just one of those shows that addressed big issues too. Like it even talked about like AIDS in a very respectful way and an informative way during a time in which it was probably most important, because it was really killing a lot of people at the time. So, but it talked about real issues on top of being really funny and very witty. There's a really nice Betty White like retrospective documentary on Netflix right now that is about 3 years old that they're spotlighting right now. That's a good place to catch some like really good clips from that, and also some clips of what she did in her life. So I definitely recommend that for anybody who wants to learn a little bit more about her. And did you want to talk any more about anything else as well, Lotus?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay, well that is the show for this week. Please remember to subscribe to the Corrective Consciousness YouTube and SoundCloud pages while they're. Please give us thumbs ups, likes, and 5-star ratings on iTunes. Helps promote and spread awareness of the show, and any bit of encouragement helps keep the show going. You can also catch us on Thursday for our sister podcast, Corrective Consciousness, where we'll be talking about the Matrix franchise this time around. Finally, you can friend me as vysethebold on pretty much anything. Just give me a heads up. Let me know who you are and how you know me.
And you could follow me on my YouTube channel, Lotus Prince. You can hit me up on Twitter at Lotus Prince. And finally, if you are interested in seeing my videos early, getting in on exclusive live streams, selecting upcoming games for me to Let's Play, or getting in discussions with me and other patrons on Discord, then perhaps consider swinging by my Patreon account, which can be found at patreon.com/LotusPrince.
That's just prime. We will talk to everybody again on Thursday then.
Until next time, everyone.
Bye-bye.